Yes, hello, Argent. I was waiting very patiently for the song to finish. Sit down, dog. Lay down, dog! Trying to do things, doggo. But hello, friends. Hello, Tommy. Hello, Pepsi. Hello, Argent. I hope all of y'all are doing well. Uh, what do I want to have as Eee. Ooh. This might be good. Let's check this one.
Your Fingerhut Betty credit account gives you access to thousands of top brand names and everyday essentials. Low monthly payments to stretch your budget.
Doggo is basically sitting directly in front of me, which is not conducive to trying to do drawing things. Alright, yeah, I think we'll sit with this one. Oh my gosh. Hot. I need you to get under the table. Please? Okay. I haven't been home for very long. Like, I got home at like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. So it's like I've been home for maybe 2 hours. Which is why it's like, we're gonna do a very short bit. Study. But I did remember to grab my Grey's Anatomy book. Freaking massive book that it is. So we can open this up. Oh. Those. Alright. So, let us really quick go through. It feels really loud. Turn it down a bit. Okay, so we know that we fucked up this area for muscles type thing. E. According to Grey's Anatomy, there are layers, of which the trapezius and latimus dorsi are of the first layer. So that is latimus dorsi. Is that one showing anything? I don't see the difference on that one. I think that might be... Yeah, that's probably this one that I just haven't drawn yet. So this is first layer. Go ahead and make folders. Yeah. Hello, Gorilla. Remadillo, the sequel. So first layer is going to be these ones. Do. Watch as I fuck up my not spelling stuff. Okay. So, the superficial fascia is exposed upon removing the skin from the back. Forms a layer of considerable thickness and strength in which the quantity of granular fish fat is contained. The deep fascia is dense fibrous layer attached to the occipital bone. The spines of the vertebrae and the crest of the ilium, the spine of the scapula. It covers the superficial muscles, forming sheaths for them, and in the neck forms the posterior part of the deep cervical fascia. In the thorax, it is continuous with the deep fascia of the axilla and the chest.
Spooky, scary skeleton.
The abdomen, with that covering the abdominal muscle. Thank you for the follow there. That's one tiny demon. Welcome to the Coven. I hope you enjoy your time here. We are... Well, currently I am reading aloud from Grey's Anatomy, page 310, because I'm trying to figure out what I fucked up in the muscle area. Because, like, I know I fucked up this area here. So we're briefly going through and reading some of the information that is shared. See if it tells me how I fucked up. Or if I'm just going to be like, I have no idea how I fucked up. I'm just gonna go ahead and fix the drawing. So, the trapeus is a broad, flat, triangular muscle placed immediately beneath the skin and the fascia, and covering the upper and back part of the neck and shoulders. It arises from the external occipital protuberance and the inner third superior curved line of the occipital bone, which is, the back of the head, the base of the head. From the ligamentum nuchae, the spinous process of the seventh cervical, and of those of all the dorsal vertebrae, and from the corresponding portion of the supraspinatus spinous ligament. From this origin, the superior fibers proceed downwards and outwards, the inferior ones upwards and outwards, and the middle fibers horizontally are inserted, the superior ones into the outer third of the posterior border of the clavicle. So this is basically talking about this large muscle here. It originates from here. Have some insertion over here. Have the horizontal, which is the middle fibers. The outer third of the posterior border of the clavicle. The middle fibers into the inner margin of the acromion process, which is talking about how they insert onto the scapula here. And into the superior lip of the posterior border or crest of the spine of the scapula. I think it's here. Yeah. This is the only downside is like I can't share what I'm reading here because I have a physical book that I'm reading from. The most that you get is my little mousy guy going, yeah, we're talking here or here. Which, you know, isn't exactly the best, but it's a learning process, and that's what Study Saturday is supposed to be about, is figuring out how this works. Inferior fibers converge near the scapula and terminate in a triangular aponeurosis. Slides over a smooth surface at the inner extremity of the spine to be inserted into a tubercle at the outer part of this smooth surface. That, I'm not entirely sure what that means. I have no idea what that actually means. I think that might be talking about the points part, where the trapezius converges down here. But don't quote me on that. I don't know for sure. The trapezius is fleshy in the greater part of its extent, but tendinous at its origin and its insertion. At its occipital origin, it is connected to the bone by a thin, fibrous lamina, firmly adherent to the skin, and wanting the lustrous, shining appearance of aponeurosis. I think I may as well spell this out really quick. I will go ahead and spell it out right here. Is the only downside of trying to read this off of medical textbook, because they throw medical terms at you and you're like, what the fuck does this mean? But it's fine. At its origin from the spines of the vertebrae, it is connected to the bones by a broad semi-elliptical aponeurosis, which occupies the space between the 6th cervical and the 3rd dorsal, which is going from here it's talking about going from like here down to here. Because the dorsal, when it talks about dorsal vertebrae, it's talking about these vertebrae, the ones that have ribs attached to them, because the cervical, according to the book, these are the cervical, the vertebrae that makes up the neck are cervical vertebrae. These ones here that make up most of the rib cage are dorsals. And then these ones here are lumbar. So it's like, whenever it talks about dorsal vertebrae, it's talking about this connection here. Their dorsal vertebrae and forms with the aponeurosis of the opposite muscle, a tendinous ellipse. The rest of the muscle arises by numerous short tendinous fibers. If the trapezius is dissected on both sides, the two muscles resemble a trapezium or a diamond-shaped quadrangle. Two angles corresponding to the shoulders, a third to the occipital protuberance, which is this up here. That's the protuberance that it's talking about, because that's the base of the neck. The base of the neck. The very back of the head. And the fourth to the spinous process of the last dorsal vertebra. The clavicle insertion of this muscle varies as to the extent of its attachment. It sometimes advances as far as the middle of the clavicle and may occasionally become blended with the posterior edge of the sternomastoid or overlap it. This should be borne in mind in the operation of tying to the third part of the subclavican artery. And then relations. Ligamentum flush is a fibrous membrane which in the neck represents the superineus and the intraspinous ligaments of the lower vertebrae. It extends from the external occipital protuberance to the spinous process of the 7th cervical vertebrae. So it's literally, that particular thing is literally just covers the neck part. From the anterior border, a fibrous lamina is given off, which is attached to the external occipital crest, the posterior tubercle of the atlas, the spinous process of each cervical vertebrae, so as to form a septum between the muscles of each on each side of the neck. In man, it is merely rudiments of the important elastic ligament, in which, in some of the lower animal, serves to sustain the weight of the head. The latimus dorsi, which, come in here, look at this here, is a good chunk of the actual back muscle that I have not drawn yet, which I will need to. Oh, pardon me while I just breathe my own saliva, and that's fine. Okay. Latimus dorsi is a broad, flat muscle which covers the lumbar and the lower half of the dorsal regions and is gradually contracted into a narrow fasciculus at its insertion into the humerus. So yes, latimus dorsi comes up and attaches to the bone here. Humerus. Okay. It arises by tendinous fibers from the spinous process of the 6 inferior dorsal vertebrae and from the posterior layer of lumbar fascia. So it's 6 inferior, so it is coming out of like the lower 6, and it the posterior layer, yeah, it comes from the entire lower half here. That is where this particular muscle comes out, originates from. From the posterior layer of the lumbar fascia, by which it is attached to the spines of the lumbar and sacral vertebrae, the spinous ligament. In case you weren't aware, sacral vertebrae is literally the tailbone down here. That is the sacral vertebrae that it. Because your tailbone is technically vertebrae. They just get fused together when you're young. It also arises from the external lip of the crest of the ilium behind the origin of the external oblique, and by fleshy digitations from the 3 or 4 lower ribs, which are intersposed between similar processes of the external oblique muscle, which is figure 218, 331. We're only on 312, so we won't see the picture of that particular muscle in this book for a hot minute. We're not gonna go hunt down that picture yet, because I only shared 2 images in the study Saturday Discord spot. So, from this extensive origin of the fibers, pass in different directions. The upper ones horizontally, the middle one obliquely upwards. So I'm assuming that's a diagonal up. And the lower vertically upwards, so as to converge and form a thick fasciculus, which crosses the inferior angle of the scapula and occasionally receives a few fibers from it. The muscle then curves around the lower border of the teres major and is twisted upon itself so that the superior fibers become at first posterior and then inferior, and vertical fibers at first anterior and then superior. It then terminates in a short, quadrilateral tendon about 3 inches in length, which, passing in front of the tendon of the teres major, is inserted into the bottom of the bicapital groove of the humerus. Its insertion extending higher on the humerus than that of the tendon of the pectoralis major. So, what normally makes the boob muscle is what the pectoralis major is. The muscle that's behind the boobs. The lower border of the tendon of this muscle is united with that of teres major, the surfaces of the two then being separated by a bursa. Another bursa is sometimes intersposed between the muscle and the inferior angle of the scapula, which we know the inferior angle is this down here, the point. This muscle at its intersection gives off an expansion of the deep fascia of the arm. Before we get too much further, I'm going to make a note. Because it twists. Bottom of the E capital. Okay. That way we know exactly where we need to attach the latimus dorsi here on the arm. Because that would be a, oh hey, we just look up where the bicapital groove of the humerus is at, and then we know where we need to put that at. So, it is still productive. Okay. We have tiny writing being like a muscular, talking about a muscular slip, which I think is technically a very large footnote. Goes over relations and nerves. Trapeus is supplied by the spinal accessory and by branches of the anterior divisions of the third and fourth cervical nerves. Anatomus dorsi by the middle or long subscapular nerve. I have no idea what that means because I've never actually bothered to pay attention to the nervous system. So do I know what that is? Not a clue. It's like you can't see nerves in the human body. Okay. Second layer. Start with rhombius major. Is the levator anguli scapula. I don't think these are ones that I have started here. No. I have the teres, the infra, and the supra, and the sacrospinalis. Not gonna worry about that. Yeah, the second layer, which is, you know, the layer underneath the trapeus and that, is supposedly levator anguli scapulae, rhombius minor, and rhombius major. I always see. Yeah, the first layer is literally only the trapeus and latimus dorsi. Third layer, serratus posticus superior, serratus posticus inferior, the splenius, which is splenius capitis and splenius poli.
Open an account with a trusted global broker and trade cryptos and
fourth
FX
layer,
on award-winning mobile app.
erector spinae,
and market news and start
outer
managing your
column,
account from your smartphone. Apply now.
iliocostalis, musculus accessorius, which that just sounds like it's meant to be a spell of some kind. Like, musculus accessorius. Proper? No. Is that how it sounds? Yes. Also, laptop, don't be trying to give me an update while I'm sitting here streaming. Not that I'm doing a lot of productivity with this. I'm literally trying to figure out what the f did wrong. I think the ones that I might have done something wrong here are actually technically muscles of the shoulder. It's like we're now the erector spinae, or the fourth layer of the back, which, from the looks of it, is literally like right against the spine. Cervicalis ascendus. Middle column is longimus dorsi, transversalis cervixis, tracheilos, no, mastoid. The inner column is literally spinalis dorsi, which is apparently this is all the muscles that help your. From the sounds of it, these are all the muscles that help your spine be upright. That was the second photo that I had shared. Of thorax. Thorax. What the fuck is the thorax? Why do we know? Why does the book go over the whole muscles of the thorax? Oh, diaphragm. So the thorax is literally the interior of the ribs. The rib cage cavity is apparently the thorax, which explains why the fucking the diagrams of the muscles in the thorax that they've drawn here don't make any kind of sense to me at all. Go muscles of the abdomen, which is not where I want to be at. Of the ischiorectal region. Basically, your butt. Aha. Shoulders? Okay. Fucking page. We went from 310 for muscles of the back to 350 for the thoracic region, which is the shoulder and the arm, apparently. Okay. I love how this is basically becoming a lecture for a study Saturday, because I'm literally reading from the book going, I don't know how I fucked up. Anterior is pectoralis major, pectoralis minor, subclavius. I want more towards the back. Want the back of the arm. Posterior scapular region. Supraspinatus, infraspinatus, teres major, teres minor. 5. Want to worry You. Aha. Posterior scapular region. Page 358. I'm going to need to remember to snap a photo of this for Study Saturday stuff. That way, y'all will still be able to look at the look at the diagram information at least. So that we all know how the fuck this works. But to expose these muscles and to examine their mode of insertion into the humerus, detach the deltoid and the trapeus from their attachment to the spine and scapula. In other words, be like, this is how you would dissect this. Remove the clavicle by dividing the ligaments connecting it with the coracoid process and separate it at its articulation with the scapula. Divide the acromion process near its root with a saw. The fragments will be being removed. The tendons of the posterior scapular muscles will be fully exposed and can be examined. A block should be placed beneath the shoulder joint so as to make the muscles tense. Basically, you're playing with cadavers? This is how you get in here to look at these muscles and have it be properly supported. The joys that this book gives. Okay. The supraspinous fascia is a thick, dense membranous layer which completes the osseofibrous case in which the supraspinous muscle is contained, affording attachment by its inner surface to some of the fibers of the muscle. It is thick internally but thinner externally under the coracoacromial ligament. When this fascia is removed, the supraspinous muscle is exposed. The supraspinatus muscle occupies the whole of the supraspinous fossa, arising from its internal 2/3 and from the strong fascia which covers its surface. The muscular fibers converge into a tendon which passes across the upper part of the capsular ligament of the shoulder joint, to which it is intimately adherent and is inserted into the highest of the three facets on the great tuberosity of the humerus. Literally, it's literally on the ball of the joint here. Okay, so I come in. Hide all of this. Okay. So, literally, the ball of the joint here, of the shoulder, it connects right up here. This is the great tuberosity of the humerus is literally right up here. The head. Okay, so the infraspinous fascia is a dense fibrous membrane covering the infraspinatus muscle and attached to the circumference of the intraspinous fossa. It affords attachment by its inner surface to some of the fibers of that muscle at the point where the infraspinatus commences to be covered by the deltoid. This fascia divides into two layers. One layer passes over the deltoid muscle, helping to form the deltoid fascia already described in the book because we skipped over that to get to our problem area. We'll probably go back to the deltoids later. The other passes beneath the deltoid to the shoulder joint. The infraspinatus is a thick triangular muscle which occupies the chief part of the infraspinous fossa, arising by fleshing fibers from its internal 2/3 and by tendinous fibers from the ridges on its surface. It also arises from a strong fascia which covers it externally and separates it from the teres major and minor. The fibers converge to a tendon which glides over the external border of the spine of the scapula, which we know is this, and passing across the posterior parts of the capsular ligament of the shoulder joint, and is inserted into the middle facet on the great tuberosity of the humerus. Oh boy. Which leads me to question how many. So from the sounds of it, the infraspinatus also connects right here. Which has me wondering. It's in. Okay, the supra inserts into the highest point of the facet. The great tuberosity has 3 facets. The supra inserts there. The infra inserts into the middle one. So, we will make a note of that really bit. Supra, highest, infra. My laptop has decided to restart itself anyway, so I currently have no access to chat or any kind of alerts until that process is done. There goes my phone. God. Saturday.
Hey, it's Danger Ranger. I was just looking at health insurance plans with Your Health Idaho.
Okay.
Mind blown. It's quality coverage for as low as $0 a month.
Oh
Okay,
my
call me
lord.
back. Visit yourhealthidaho.org by December 15th
Okay,
to see if you
so
qualify.
continuing now that we've been thoroughly distracted. The infra is the middle. Let's find where I was in my paragraph. Inserted into the middle facet of the great tuberosity of the humerus. The tendon of this muscle is occasionally separated from the spine of the scapula by a synovial bursa, which communicates with the synovial cavity of the shoulder joint. I don't care about the relationship. The teres minor is a narrow, elongated muscle which arises from the dorsal surface of the axillary border of the scapula for the upper 2/3 of its extent, and from two aproneurotic laminae, one of which separates this muscle from the infraspinatus, the other from the teres major. Its fibers pass obliquely upwards and outwards and terminate in a tendon, which is inserted into the lowest of these three facets on the great tuberosity of the humerus, by fleshy fibers into the humerus immediately below it. So, lowest and below. So, get that, and then a little bit below it. Okay. The tendon of this muscle passes across the posterior part of the capsular ligament of the shoulder joint. Ow. Ew. Relations by its posterior surface with the deltoid and the integument, by its anterior surface with the scapula and the dorsal branch of the So basically, the relations part, when it goes relations, it's literally talking about everything that this part touches. The teres major is a thick, somewhat flattened muscle which arises from the oval surface of the dorsal aspect of the inferior angle of the scapula and from the fibrous septa intersposed between it and the teres minor and the infraspinatus. The fibers are directed upwards and outwards and terminate in the bicapital ridge of the humerus. The tendon of this muscle, at its insertion into the humerus, lies behind that of latimus dorsi, from which it is separated by a synovial bursa, the two tendons being, however, united along their lower borders for a short distance. Okay. So, this teres major attaches like here. So, major does this kind of thing. There's minor. It looks like this. Ew. Super Spinatus, which is the one up here. Which I think that was the one that I was going, I'm okay with that. That one doesn't need a lot of help. The infra is this one. Because the infra goes under the Terrace Major down here. Which is also where the minor also goes. Have a little bit of separation there. My laptop is back up. Hang on. I really hate that it just... Hey, Richard's gonna restart randomly. Okay. Real quick. We're going to snap a photo of this. So that we can throw it. Okay. Setting materials. Really quick. Up it up. Up this up. Ooh. Okay. I think I might be ready to try and tackle this again. Now that we've gone over everything here. Okay.
So, you're taking a quick stroll at Riverfront Park. It's the perfect time to get some banking done. Yep, like checking your credit score, transferring funds, and depositing a check with the Idaho Central Credit Union mobile app. Get that banking anywhere feeling with ICCU and our mobile app.
There is also a fourth layer. Then we're going to go ahead under shoulder. Spinalis. Go in the back. Do I know where in the back? No. Okay. So, he let's start with Terrace Major, I guess. Since that's the one that's down below. Do I expect to do actually a lot of drawing here today? No. Okay. Oh, Terrace Major. This is probably where this is like, yes. It needs to be down here. I think. Hang on. Yeah. Major. Inserted into the inner bicapital ridge of the. We will really quick. Pelvis. Osteology. Or flanges. Joints. Bones of the foot, femur, thigh, pelvis, carpus, and scapula, scapula, ribs, hyoid, skull, over. Oh, the inside of your mouth. Molar, maxillary, cranium, sphenoid, oral, frontal, occipital, the spine, vertebrae. Okay. Scapula, humerus. Aha. Oh god. Okay. Anterior view, which is the front. Posterior view. Ooh. Wait. You tell me exactly where. External head of the triceps. Teres minor. Infraspinatus. This means that teres major next to the front. It does! That makes so much more sense as to why I'm being so confused. So the teres major wraps around to the front of the front of the humerus, and it attaches like right there, like right about where. Let's see if I hang on. Oh, need to pull up Bloody Saturday. That's not the way, not what I wanted. Delta structure. I pull up the front. Okay. What I'm looking at is this one over here. The teres major literally connects to this spot here. That is where teres major is connecting. So if I translate that to the back, Doug. Doggo! Yes, I know, stretch so pretty. So if I translate this to the back, then it should be connecting like right there. Yeah. It's they straightened this out a bit. Okay. I really wish that the wind would quit trying to bring up Skype when it comes back. So this means that I probably want to snap a picture of this, since that's so helpful. Like, oh my god. I didn't realize that this book literally traces out where these fucking muscles connected on the bones. But you have to go back to the actual bones part in order to see it. So, teres major and front, it kind of does this kind of thing. Means that's basically okay. That. Okay. Huge difference in position for that one. Because this is, I had it up there, I had it wrapped around. That is not actually how it fucking positions. Wraps down and around like that, and it attaches to the front of the fucking bone. Not to the back, to the front of the humerus. Now, the supra Supraspine. The tusk also connects to the front. Next, like, wait, here. Yeah, because this is the head, which connects to the shoulder, connects into the shoulder. Has such a tiny, tiny point. Have the dip. Yeah. The supra, like, attaches right there. That is where the supra attaches to. Again, on the front of the fucking bone. So. Hi, doggo. If I remember correctly. Oh, I actually almost had that perfect for its connection point on the top. Oh, what? Okay, so I have a couple more pictures that I'm gonna have to share then. Beyond the extra shoulder piece that I shared. Okay. So the Supra can pretty much stay the same. Because I did manage to find its point exactly. Infra. At the photo. Infraspinatus. Looks like it basically. Next. Entirely here. Yeah. And then teres minor. Basically all of that. Which, that one is wildly incorrect. But I know that I worked very hard on... I'd made sure to calculate exactly where it connected. Down below. which then I should be able to. This is how the humorous work. And I should. Left scapula, posterior surface. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Hang on a minute. Here. I'm going to hide all of this. Hide the back. Okay. So according to this book, of which is more aimed towards medical professionals than artists, the infraspinous fossa, or the infraspinous, is literally going from here and yes, I'm just kind of vaguely being very vague about it. That is supposedly the intro. Ah! Don't lose the book! Aries Major. Next. Here. Attempts made Dorsey here, apparently. Okay. Fine, it's us. Deltoid. Here. That is all deltoid. Just that. Minor. Hang on. The way that this is set up. Oh, there's a groove there. Literally the groove right here. The minor is literally this whole spot. The major connects all down here, and it wraps around. Minor, that is not as big as I thought it was going to be. The intra is literally most of the scapula. But this is definitely going to be a, oh hey, we have even more photos to take, because these are things that I'm referencing going, this doesn't make sense based off of the information that I had available for college. I bought this book before I did the college thing, intentionally going, I want to learn more about this. Okay. There's more things going on over here that I can't see because of how they've drawn it here, that I'm supposedly have more going on. But this helps. So I have more pictures to take. I want to wait on taking those pictures because there's a few pages there that need to be done. We're gonna drop this here. That still tracks there, yes. Teres minor, which is not accurate. That's than anything. So that is how that covers a lot of that. And I'd already checked Teres major. I'd managed to get that fairly accurate. Okay. Horsey. Okay. Okay. I have no idea what that was. I'm going to ignore it. I'm going to ignore that entirely. Okay. Random notes. Random notes. Those are also shoulder notes. We're gonna tuck that in. Notes today? Oh, that was me going, hey, this is wrong. I need to do more research on that. I've done that research. Mic thing. That was blocking. Yeah, blocking. Okay. That note. I need to just add humorous posterior surface that was dorsey. Okay. Latimus, the bicapital groove of the humerus then is apparently a groove on the front of the humerus, which means that latimus dorsi also connects in the bicapital ridge. We zoom in here. On the front of the bone, it basically drops right down almost the center of the bone. Yeah. It connects one like right there, going down. So that is the bicapital ridge. Teres major, next like right here. Latimus dorsi, next up here. Okay. This makes more sense now. This is why you have more than one reference book for when you're trying to do things like this. And if you notice, when I was going like right here, when I was taking notes, going in, it's like right here. This is, you know, it's almost perfectly in line with where the bottom edge of the teres major is at. But that looks like those are some good notes. I don't want to do any of the rendering of it right now. I'm gonna go ahead and call this a stream. I have more pictures I need to add in now. Now that I have figured out what the fuck that it actually needs to look like, thanks to Grey's Anatomy. Textbook for medical students, not artists. But it still helps. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna save this. think I'll go ahead and save save it with with the notes here. Because, like, this is basically what today's stream has been. It's been lecture mode. And doing the plotting here. Which also probably means that hang on. We're going to this. Then we're going to take and move this layer. Wait, no. Do the move. Move that part. Okay. Because then this will all be able to be like, hey, Dorsey, Harris Major. And then it's like, congratulations. We have all the notes taken. Oh my gosh. Pick. I know that there's oh, that's going over development of the vertebrae, characters of the lumbar. Goes over. Yeah. There we go. So we are going to save this. Because this is basically what we did today. Because it's almost 7 in the morning. I'm ready for bed. We are going to save. We'll export. Oh, I've been saving them as JPEG. Okay. Yeah, it's been a fucking month since I've done anything here. And you know, even though this has technically all been a study Sunday, I'm still going to label it as 10/28, so that it's still date-wise, it'll still land on the it'll still land on the Saturday. That way we know where we're at. But yeah, I think this has been good progress. We learned a lot. Like, yes, it was a lot of lecture and trying to, you know, figure it out. Learn more about. Learn how little we understand about medical terminology, really. But it was still shorter than what most of the other study Saturdays have been. But still good progress. So, until next time, guys. Stay safe. Don't die. Most of all, have fun. Bye-bye. I told you to click. Thank you.
There are loved ones in the glory whose dear forms you often miss. When you close your earthly story, will you join them in their bliss? Will the circle be unbroken by and by, by and by? Is a better home awaiting in the sky, in the sky? In the joyous days of childhood, oft they told of wondrous love, pointed to the dying Savior. Now they dwell with him above. Will the circle be unbroken by and by, by and by? Is a better home awaiting in the sky, in the sky? You remember songs of heaven which you sang with childish voice. Do you love the hymns they taught you, or are songs of earth your choice? Will the circle be unbroken by and by, the fireside long ago, and you think of tearful partings when they left you here below. Will the circle be unbroken by and by, by and by? Is a better home awaiting in the sky, in the sky? One by one their seats were emptied, and one by one they went away. Now the family is parted. Will it be complete one day? Will the circle be unbroken by and by, oh, by and by? Is a better home awaiting in the sky, oh, in the sky, in the sky, in the sky.
Now what we're going to do is very speedily craft all of this stuff up. Actually, I have a lot of crafting to do. This could end badly. In fact, it probably will end badly because I don't know restraint. All right, let's go. Crafting, 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 crafting up all the things. Crafting, 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 crafting. What a boring scene. Crafting, crafting, crafting. Very, very speedy. Crafting, crafting, crafting. We're gonna craft more. Crafting, 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 crafting up all the things. Crafting, 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 crafting. What a boring scene. Crafting, 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 crafting for 4 hours more. We're gonna craft more, more, more. We're gonna craft more, more, more. We're gonna craft more. We're gonna craft more. We're gonna craft more, more, more. And then empty maps. Crafting up compass for iron. Oh, it's these are very high value items, and I expect them to do very well at the shop. Crafting, 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 crafting up all the things. Crafting, 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 crafting. What a boring scene. Crafting, crafting, crafting. Very, very speedy. Crafting, crafting, crafting. We're gonna craft more. Crafting, 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 crafting up all the things. Crafting, 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 crafting. What a boring scene. Crafting, 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 crafting for 4 hours more. We're gonna craft more, more, more. We're gonna craft more, more, more. We're gonna craft more. We're gonna craft more. We're gonna craft more, more, more. I don't know why I'm doing this. That's okay. That's how good things normally go. And we are done.